Okay, imagine this for a second. Someone accused of, like, multiple murders vanishes from prison over 50 years ago, gone,
Right.
and then decades later, they're found. Just living this quiet, totally normal life under a fake name in a different country.
It sounds like fiction, doesn't it? But it's not.
Not at all. This is the absolutely astonishing true story of Sharon Kim.
That's right. And today, we're really diving deep into this whole saga of Sharon Kim, the woman who got that nickname, La Pistolera.
La Piscolera, yeah.
And for this deep dive, we've pulled from, well, everywhere. True crime forums, Reddit threads where people first reacted,
Yeah, yeah.
But also detailed news reports, CBS, CBC, and of course comprehensive sources like Wikipedia. It's a story that, it's gripped people for a long, long time.
And you can see why. So our mission today really is to try and piece together how this woman who's connected to 3 murders in 2 different countries just vanished, poof, for so long.
She did it, yeah.
How she managed to disappear, how she rebuilt her life in such, well, unexpected ways, and the almost unbelievable way she was finally ID'd, decades after everyone thought she was probably dead.
It's a wild ride.
It really is. Expect crime, evasion, and a justice system that somehow never quite gave up. So let's start at the beginning. Back in Missouri, her life started pretty ordinarily, didn't it, before things went sideways?
Yeah, Sharon Elizabeth Hall, born November 30th, 1939 in Independence, Missouri. Things took a turn pretty early, though. She married James Kim when she was just 16.
16, wow.
Yeah, and even then, there was deception. She apparently lied about her age, said she was 18 and a widow, just to get the marriage license.
Okay, so red flags maybe from the start.
You could say that. They had 2 kids, Dana and Troy, but the marriage wasn't exactly stable. Sources
Yeah.
point to Sharon spending a lot of money, having affairs. One specifically mentioned is with a guy named John Boldis.
Oh.
James was apparently thinking about divorce.
And this is where it gets really dark, right? The allegation about bullets.
It does. According to reports, Sharon allegedly offered Boldis $1,000 to kill her husband, James.
$1,000. That really sets a chilling scene for what happened next.
Absolutely. March 1960, James Kin is found dead. Gunshot wound, back of the head, while he was asleep.
And Sharon's explanation, this is the part that always gets me.
It's infamous. She said their 2-year-old daughter, Dana, accidentally shot him while playing with his .22 pistol.
A 2-year-old. And initially, police, they bought it, or at least ruled it accidental. How?
Well, it sounds completely bizarre now, but apparently Dana could physically pull the trigger on a similar gun they tested. And crucially, they didn't do a paraffin test on Sharon or Dana.
Ah, the gunshot residue test.
Exactly. That test looks for tiny particles of gunpowder. If they'd done it, it could have shown immediately if Sharon, not Dana, had fired the gun. It was a massive gap in the early investigation.
A gap she seems to have exploited pretty quickly. She collected the life insurance, right?
Oh, yeah. About $29,000, which,
Mhm.
today is something like $230,000. Sold a house, too.
And what did she do with the money? Kept a low profile.
Not exactly. She bought a brand new Ford Thunderbird convertible
Okay.
and almost immediately started an affair with the salesman who sold her the car, Walter Jones. She even tried to get him to leave his wife, Patricia.
Which leads us to the next tragedy. Patricia Jones disappears in May 1960. How did Sharon lure her into meeting?
It was another deception. Sharon told Patricia that Walter was having an affair with Sharon's sister and they needed to talk about it. Patricia went to meet her and vanished.
And then who finds the body?
Unbelievably, just hours later, Sharon and John Boldis, remember him, found Patricia's body. Boldis apparently suggested searching the secluded spot they used to go to.
Convenient. And how was Patricia killed?
Shot 4 times with a .22 caliber pistol. The powder burns on her skirt showed it was fired at very close range.
So, okay. Husband dead, insurance collected, new car, new affair, lover's wife now dead. The police must have zeroed in on her immediately.
You think so? And they did. Walter Jones and Boldis both passed lie detector tests. Sharon. She flat out refused to take one. Wouldn't even sign a written statement.
So charges followed.
Oh, yes. First, for Patricia's murder. Then investigators reopened James's case, and she was charged with his murder, too. And another little detail, a friend had secretly bought another .22 pistol for Sharon around that time, and suddenly that gun couldn't be found.
So things are looking pretty bad for her. But the trials were something else. Tell us about the first one for Patricia Jones's murder.
June 1961, an all-male jury,
Mm.
and they acquitted her after just an hour and a half.
An hour and a half. How? What was the reasoning?
According to the reports, the jury just said there were too many loopholes. Maybe the prosecution couldn't nail down the direct evidence strongly enough. It's hard to say. But get this, she actually signed an autograph for one of the jurors right after the verdict.
You're kidding. The audacity.
It's really something.
Okay, so acquitted for Patricia, but what about the trial for her husband, James?
That was next, January 1962. This time, she was convicted, sentenced to life in prison.
Finally, right. Justice served.
Not quite. Her conviction was overturned by the Missouri Supreme Court. The reason cited was improper jury selection.
So back to square one, more trials.
Yep. In 1964, they tried again. The second trial ended in a mistrial. A juror had a conflict of interest. The third trial ended with a hung jury. They couldn't agree. 7 jurors actually voted to acquit.
7 for acquittal. Even after everything, did she testify?
She did for the first time in that third trial. Took the stand, denied everything point blank. It's like the legal system just couldn't make anything stick.
She seemed to slip through every crack. So a 4th trial for James's murder was pending.
Right. She was out on bond, $25,000. But she wasn't waiting around for trial number 4. September 1964, she disappeared.
Fled the country.
Exactly. She went to Mexico with a new guy, apparently another lover, Francis Samuel Pugliese. She was traveling under the alias Jeanette Pugliese.
And the bond money.
Gone.
Yeah.
The bond company had to forfeit the whole $25,000. Her escape was clean.
And Mexico. Things didn't exactly quiet down for her there, did they?
Not even slightly. Just days after arriving in Mexico City, she met a man named Francisco Ordonez in a bar, went back to his hotel room.
Man.
She shot and killed him. Her story was self-defense, that he'd made unwanted advances. But then, when a hotel employee, Enrique Martinez Rueda, came into the room after hearing the shot, she shot him too, wounded him in the shoulder.
Self-defense doesn't usually involve shooting the witness. What did the police think?
Mexican police suspected robbery was the motive.
Okay, so she's arrested in Mexico. But didn't something crucial come out during that investigation? Something linking back to Missouri?
This is a key point, yes. While investigating the Ordonez killing, the police found a gun in Sharon's hotel room. They ran ballistics tests.
Don't tell me.
It matched. The gun was ballistically matched to the weapon used to kill Patricia Jones back in Missouri.
Wow. So they finally had the murder weapon linked directly to Sharon. Could they recharge her in the U.S.? Explain double jeopardy for us again here.
That's the frustrating part for law enforcement. No, they couldn't. Double jeopardy is a legal principle, basically meaning you can't be tried twice for the same crime once you've been acquitted or convicted. She'd already been acquitted of Patricia's murder in Missouri.
So even with this damning new proof, the gun, her acquittal stood.
Exactly. It's meant to protect people from repeated prosecutions, but here it meant this huge piece of evidence couldn't bring her back to trial for that specific crime.
So what happened with the Mexican charges for killing Ordonez?
She was convicted of homicide in Mexico, October 1965. Got 10 years initially, but that was up to 13 on appeal.
And this is when she gets the nickname.
Yes. The Mexican press called her La Pistolera, the gunslinger.
Did she embrace the notoriety?
She seemed to. She even gave interviews from prison. There's a famous quote where she said guards were basically scared of her.
You know, one of the reasons why I can do just about anything I please is they're a little bit afraid of me.
Unbelievable confidence. Or arrogance, right? Even behind bars. But she wasn't behind bars for the full 13 years.
No, she escaped. Again, how?
5 years into her sentence, December 7th, 1969. There was a strange blackout at the Iztapalapan prison she was in. And a door that absolutely should have been locked wasn't.
Sounds suspicious. Bribery, outside help.
That's what everyone wondered. Did she bribe the guards? Did a new boyfriend help? There were rumors about a Mexico City policeman. Was her mother involved? Some even suggested a former Mexican Secret Service agent, or that she disguised herself as a man to get out.
Lots of theories, but she was gone.
Gone. There was a big manhunt across Mexico, but it didn't last long. Authorities eventually figured she'd probably fled south, maybe to Guatemala. Her fluency in Spanish would have helped.
And this escape, like you said, it just fits the pattern, doesn't it? Her knack for evasion.
It really does. And after that escape, silence. For over 50 years, Sharon Kim was just a ghost. Her case became this legendary cold case featured everywhere. People speculated endlessly.
But the reality was almost boringly normal, in a way.
Astonishingly so. She wasn't hiding in some remote jungle. She'd been living under the name Dee de Bruglavis. People called her Dee in Tabor, Alberta, a small, quiet town in Canada.
Since when? How did she get there?
Apparently since around 1973. And get this, Just 2 months after escaping prison in Mexico, she married a man named James Thomas Globus in Los Angeles, February 1970. Then they moved up to Canada.
Wait, hold on. How does a wanted international fugitive, an escaped murderer, just marry someone in LA and then move to Canada, get visas, ID, citizenship?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It really speaks to how different things were back then, before interconnected databases. You could potentially create a new identity much more easily. It wasn't necessarily about deep hiding. It was about just being someone else publicly.
So what was her life like in Tabor, Alberta, as Dee Glavis?
Completely unassuming. She and James owned a motel for a while, then they worked as real estate agents. Her picture was even in ads in the local paper.
Her picture. A known fugitive.
Incredible, right? She did volunteer work, charity committee for a daycare center. She was known for needlepoint, played bridge. She even had another child, a son, with James Glavis in Canada, on top of the 2 kids back in the U.S.
Just living a normal suburban life. Wow. But the pattern of deaths around her, did that continue?
Well, James Glavis died relatively young, in 1979. He was only 38. Officially, it was complications from diabetes and alcoholism. Sharon actually contested his will because she had been left out.
And she married again.
Yes, a third husband, William Willie L., in March 1982. He passed away in 2011.
It's notable, even if officially unrelated to her past.
It certainly makes you pause, doesn't it, that pattern?
So after all those decades living openly as Dee Glavis, how did they finally figure it out 50 years later?
It came down to an anonymous tip, finally, in December 2023. Someone tipped off the Jackson County Sheriff's Office and Kansas City Police that Sharon Kim might be this woman, Deidre Glavis, in Tabor, Alberta.
An anonymous tip after all that time, and how did they confirm it? She must have died by then.
She had. Deidre Glavis had passed away. Now, Canadian law usually allows access to fingerprints of deceased people if they have a criminal record. But Deidre didn't have one in Canada.
So dead end.
Almost. But here's the twist. The local funeral home in Tabor used a service that preserves fingerprints as keepsakes for the family, like a memento.
Right.
And the company providing that fingerprint keepsake service, it was based in Independence, Missouri.
No way! Her hometown, where the original warrants were still active.
Exactly. It's almost poetic, isn't it? Jackson County investigators got a warrant for those keepsake prints. The FBI compared them to Sharon Kim's old records from the 1960s.
And it was a match.
A conclusive match. After more than half a century, that little fingerprint memento, taken completely innocently, bypassed decades of her careful evasion.
That is truly incredible. A tiny analog detail bridging 50 years. When did they announce this?
U.S. authorities went public on January 17, 2025. They confirmed Deidre Glavis was Sharon Kim. She had died almost 3 years earlier, January 21, 2022, at age 82. Natural causes, coronary artery disease, Alzheimer's listed as contributing factors.
And that warrant for James Kim's murder?
Was officially the oldest outstanding murder warrant in Kansas City history, finally closed.
What did the police say? Relief. Frustration they couldn't get her alive.
A bit of both, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Sir Die Dustin Love from Jackson County acknowledged, she was really good at what she did. She hid really well. He did say it was unfortunate we couldn't catch her when she was alive, and her family, the children she left behind.
They issued a statement, said the discovery brought closure to a traumatic legacy. They were quite blunt, saying Sharon was a woman that never faced the consequences of her actions, leaving them for her children to deal with. She caused great harm without thought or remorse.
Wow, strong words. And there's still a gap, isn't there, between the escape and showing up in Canada?
Yeah, authorities are still looking for tips about where exactly she was between late 69, the escape, and roughly 73 when she seems to have settled in Canada. Still a few missing years in that incredible story.
So summing it all up, what's the takeaway here?
I mean, the story of Sharon Kim, it's just this incredible testament to sheer audacity, right? The lengths someone will go to evade justice, the completely ordinary life someone can build while hiding such a dark past.
From blaming a toddler in Missouri to La Pistolera in Mexico, then just a quiet realtor in small-town Canada, it's a masterclass in evasion.
It really is. But it also shows you how, back then, fragmented records could let someone slip through. And yet it also highlights that persistence from law enforcement over decades, and how sometimes justice finds a way through the most random, unexpected things, like a funeral home fingerprint.
Yeah, and thinking about it now, this whole deep dive, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Even with today's technology, all the digital footprints we leave, could there still be people living among us who manage to hide equally extraordinary pasts from an earlier time?
That's a chilling thought. What does it say about identity, about memory, about whether justice always finds a way, even if it takes half a century.
Definitely something to think about.
Well, thank you for diving deep with us into this absolutely mind-bending story.